Yes, and welcome to In the Tank Live with Aaron Hairston and Keith Deyo. You got a different view today because I forgot my tripod at home. So we're going to rock with this. Aaron's about to jump on. We're excited to see you all. It's a little bit later, but we're going to give you about 10 minutes. We just got off an exciting call. We attracted a brand new teammate from out in Nashville. She's an amazing person. I can't wait to introduce her to you guys. Have her on the Tank Live and allow her to share her wisdom, share her knowledge, all of her experience. Health and wellness is her thing. And she's ready to show up big, even bigger than she has in her life up to now. So what's going on, Nick? Glad to have you with us. I know we're going to be having a few people join us that were looking, reminding us, yo, what's going on? We got to get the tank going. So Aaron will be coming on shortly. And we're talking about whether or not you've arrived. And how do you know? Because I think that's a big thing for people is arriving. And knowing when, have they showed up? Have they shown up as their best version of themselves? Whatever they had access to that day, and what are they going to do if they haven't? And what are they going to do if they have? Who are they going to attract when they arrive? I think that's so much fun is when we show up as the person that we not only want to be, but as the person we're becoming, and we leave that old version behind, even the version that we saw even yesterday, leave it behind, detach from it emotionally, use whatever we found for experience and knowledge, and then teach it. Leave that breadcrumb, right? Leave that breadcrumb. So when you show up, it's all about knowing. And there's actually, when you show up, I'll give you a rhyme. When you show up, there's a know. There's ultimately a glowing. And that glowing will attract people just like the version of you that showed up from my. What's going on, Aaron?
What up, man? Wow. What a day it's been. I tell you, you talk about arrival.
Yep.
All these things are showing up at my doorstep. And I just want to ask a question out there because I know a lot of people may be feeling a little bit of, a little bit of uncertainty, right? We just got back from an amazing event, right? We got all fired up. We got all pumped up. We started seeing a vision of what's possible for our families. And then we had that little bit of a transition while in transit back home of more excitement, right? Because you're talking to people, you're probably traveling with a few people. And so you're still kind of riding on that coattail of that event and that significant emotional event that you just went through. And now all of a sudden you're back home, right? And now it's starting to remind you all these things that, made you feel super uncomfortable, super fearful of, and just these boundaries that you now putting yourself back in. And so what I want to remind you is that you do have a box cutter. Okay, you have a box cutter. You have something that is going to allow you to cut holes in the box so you can still breathe, right? You don't have to jump all the way in there, like you're in solitary confinement with no sunlight, right? Give yourself some sunlight and allow yourself to breathe. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is quickly. If you haven't done it already, we talked about that letter to yourself. I've already read that letter every day, maybe twice a day since I've been home. Right? Because it doesn't take a lot of time for us to forget about what it was that we came back to do. Right? Because there's a lot of people in our environment that aren't here to do anything else than what they've been doing. You came back to do something different. And so when you talk about arrival, Keith, we have to show up and we have to be willing to show up. And a young man just left my house a little while ago. He wanted to come over because he felt he needed to apologize. He needed to apologize for disappearing, right? Because he was excited about the possibility of doing something bigger and better and bolder, right? And then life showed up and life had a bigger axe, right? And he needed to go ahead and start helping that life thing start to chop away at trees that were given to him to do besides what he really wanted to do. And I told him, I said, listen, there's no need to apologize because I'm not going anywhere. Right? Matter of fact, I'm glad you went and did what you did because now you realize the importance. You want a slice of cheese. See, I got my 4-year-old wants a slice of cheese. And he brings me the cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a piece of cheese while I continue.
Now that guy has eagercy.
He has eagercy. And I told him, I said, you know what? If you would, can you put this back? Thank you, buddy. And so I asked him, I said, if you would, really, really look deep inside that moment in transition from when you were excited to when you hit deception. Because in there lies the answer. In there lies the tool that you're going to need because it's going to show up again. And you must arrive. You must show up to becoming the person that you desire to be well after that idea and that feeling of your hope and possibility of being is gone. right? And being around those people are going to remind you really quickly how important it is that you keep moving. Because if you don't move, right, what happens? Mold shows up. You start rotting, you start dying, you start stinking, right? And nobody wants to be around a stinky person. Nobody wants to be around something that's smelly, rotten, molding, right? And so we have to continue to move. We have to continue to encourage each other. We also have to continue to keep cutting bigger holes in the box so that eventually we can step out of that in a comfort way, right? And be able to look back and say, you know what? The reason why I left that box is dot, 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 dot. And I know that you want to suck me back in. I get that, right? Because there's some people inside that box that are comfortable inside that box, but you're different, right? You're showing up differently. You want more inside your life. And that's what I'm doing, Keith, is I'm helping people to realize that just going through uncertainty is not going to kill you. What it will do is it will help you to realize why you started in the first place and why it's so important you keep going.
Yeah, all those bumps and bruises, Aaron, help you grow bigger. And Michelle said it's time to show up from the top, yeah, so we can grow up. I mean, if there's anybody we know that's really showing up for not only for herself, but for her family and made a decision. And when that decision was made, when that light was switched on, she hasn't looked back one day. And she's so beautiful. And you see it. It's beyond her looks. It's a glow. And when you can be around somebody, if you know who Michelle Ortiz is, you could be around somebody like that, what a gift. I mean, what an absolute gift to the world. What an absolute gift to be found and believe in somebody that shared something with her, to be open enough to know nothing about it and say, yes, if you're doing it, I'm doing it, and we're doing it. And
we're doing
if not for Michelle, one of our favorite people, one of the people that are closest to our heart in our tribe would have been long gone by now. Michelle is literally the glue that holds communities and tribes together, and it's awesome to have somebody like that. And she gets it. There's so many people on here that get it, like Christine and Nick and Billy. I mean, they're dropping dimes one after another after another. And even if they aren't contributing, they're showing up and vibrating at this level, at least for that 20 minutes, at least for that 10, 15 minutes. And it literally, all this is, what you feel when you're in front of us, what you feel when we're speaking, all that is you tuning to the right station. Just like when you get in your car, every time you get in your car and you turn and that song comes on, that you can feel like that all day long. Aaron and I get turned up like that all day long. And when the static hits, we're like, oh no, we don't have the static. Make a decision, move on, change the station. Because like Aaron said, think about the life of a shark. If sharks stop moving, they die. If sharks are in small tanks, they circle till they find a bigger one. So don't be circled by the shark, be the shark. Set the temperature in every single room you come into. Look, there's Yolanda now. I knew it. See? Speak the name and she shows up. So that's the key is that when are you going to know if you showed up or not? Are you willing to show up? And then once you realize that you've showed up, who else must you show up for? Who needs you on your A game today? Besides you. It all starts with you. Make your why yourself. Make your why about you. Because without you, there is no us. See what I did there? So those are dad jokes. Arrive in a big way. I want to see Aaron start doing what he used to do when he left UPW, walk into rooms and do more than smile. Throw back the doors and be like, what's up? I'm here. I love doing it.
Yeah. You know, and it's exciting because I think that's the fulfillment that we must feel every day. Right? I mean, that's the part of life is being able to walk into a room, change the state and say, yep, I know you guys been waiting for me. I'm here. Right? And I think if we can teach people, Keith, how to really hone in on that, it will really make this world a better place. And I know that we're just kind of on the tip of the iceberg here because there's so much below that's being worked on and so much things that, get thrown at us and we're working through, right? And we're growing through and we're understanding. And I tell you right now, I mean, we're right on the edge of blowing this thing wide open, right? I mean, we're at that point now where we've been doing this consistently for, I would say almost like 5 years, right? 4 years, close to, right? Really honing on this and going all in. And the information that we have now that we're talking about aging and we're talking about, the economy and the way that things are shifting with artificial intelligence, we have something so special. And I'm so thankful that we have it. And as I was explaining to this young man about our strategy going into the fall, you know, the light bulb went on in his head as it was reigniting for my own, you know, my own light bulb, because I'm explaining to him, you know, that by, you know, 2030, 800 million jobs are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, right? Regardless of the degrees that you have, you will not work a robot, right? And you're also more expensive than a robot, right? Long term. And so companies are becoming more, you know, more invested into technology than they are in humans, right? And so with that being said, there's a need to make more money. Now, what he was saying is that, you know, he feels a little, you know, a little uncomfortable talking about making additional streams of income. He feels a little uncomfortable talking about money. And I said, well, we have to fix that, right? But for now, I want you to focus on what you are comfortable with, right? Because I don't want you to be anything other than who you are right now. I want you to be present. I want you to be in this moment, but I also want you to grow and develop, right? And so being able to share what we have, where someone's initial investment of about 160 bucks can make them $10 out the rip, and they can walk away, right, with 170. See, this is the type of thing we're talking about. And if we start to leverage that, I mean, I don't know for you. I mean, what would an extra $200 a month do for you? I don't know, right? You put that on it, right? We don't got to talk outrageous numbers here. Let's just talk simplicity. Let's talk a couple $100. What would a couple $100 do for you? Right now, it might pay for bags when you go grocery shopping.
You go to Costco, you know you're screwed.
That's the real, right? Or maybe going from 87 gas to 93. I don't know. But here's the simple thing, right? Is that we have found a way, Keith, and it excites me. And as I dive deeper and deeper into the Forever University, I'm starting to understand this subculture of what's happening with aging and the U economy, and how we need to get back to simplicity and helping people realize that having a sophisticated side hustle is probably the most important decision you need to make. Because you're going to come to a point where you're going to need to make a decision not on want to, but have to. And that sucks. Because when you have to do stuff, there's a lot of emotion that comes along with that. There's a lot of pain that comes along with that. And why would you? Why would you wait, right, to make a decision when you have to? Do it while you want to. Do it while you have that little bit of a cushion. Do it while you have the support, the systems around you, and you have the faces of people that are doing it already, right, that have done the lifting, right, that are willing and in a position to right now support you on putting that weight up on that bar and helping you get a feel for what it feels like when resistance shows up, so that you're not getting crushed in the moment screaming and crying for help.
Woo, we lit. This is no longer Wellness or Wealth Wednesday. It's Wild Out Wednesday.
Let's
Wild
go.
Out Wednesday coming at you. For everyone that showed up today, the likes, the loves, the comments. We have all been here. We're all going places. And for the hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that are going to see this on replay, even those suffering in silence, get out there, share this message, and we will see you tomorrow in the Tank live, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time with Aaron Hairston and Keith Deyo. Peace.